So the date is December the 9th, 2020, and it's a very significant day to me and my family. And to be very honest, I was a little bit apprehensive about being so personal and bringing this to the channel, but I think it's a good story to tell, and I think I'd like to say it, I'd like to tell it. I only hope that I do it justice. So this is my true definition of a legend. So I've chosen not to go on the freeway and not to go at speeds because I realise that the wind noise does interfere with the audio. So I want it to be as clear as I can for everybody to hear. So on this date in 1933, my father was born, Casimiro. What a beautiful name that is, Casimiro. And I'm going to tell you the story of his life. Alright, so he survived World War II at a very young age, and I believe he was about 7 years old at the time. Born in Malta. Tough times, very, very tough times way back then. He was part of 20 children, one of the eldest male born, the eldest boy, and the second born. So at the very young age of about 15 or even 16, I think he was, he decided that life was just too hard. It was too hard for him and his family in Malta. So he packed up and left on his own, got on a ship, took 28 days to get to Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. And he did it with the ambition and the intention of bringing every single member of his immediate family, including his mother and his father, to Australia for a better life. So off he set sail on his own, and he came to Australia, Melbourne, Victoria. And on his own, built a home with his own bare hands. Way back then there was no machinery, none of that. Everything was done manually. So that's what he did. He built a home, and one by one brought each and every member of his family over, whilst working as a carpenter, as a joiner, at the dockyards here in Williamstown. So while he was doing that, he was building the house, and like I said, he brought them over one by one, slowly building up enough money to be able to afford to do that. So he did that. Met my mum, married at a very young age, and then it was time to build another home for his immediate family. So he did it again. Together they bought a house that wasn't quite finished. I believe it was actually far from finished. So he got his hands into it and he did it himself. He finished it himself. So this was their first home together. And Dad was a very, very hands-on person and a very, very good carpenter. His work has always been second to none. He'd do everything himself. He'd know how to do everything. And he did that. He did everything. Whilst raising children, he would work during the day at the dockyards as a joiner, working on the ships for the captains, because his work was so good that the captain's quarters had to be built by my father. It was quite extraordinary how good his work was. Quite amazing how talented he was. He lived his life for everybody else but himself. And that has to be a definition of a legend right there. Looking after everybody else around him. So getting back to the first house that they built together, my mum and my dad. Raised the children, would work during the day and come home and work in the garage till my mum would come home at about 10 o'clock at night. So he would really never stop. Every day, that was my memory of my father as growing up as a young child. And he had so much work on because of how good he was. He had to knock back work because he had too much on. Incredible. So what I remember from my father as a young child, he was huge. And that wasn't from going to gyms, because there were no gyms in those days. That was a result of his honest, hard physical work, physical labour, lifting cupboards on his own, you know, holding them up on his arms with his arms. And that's kind of inspired me to, you know, to work out and look like him if I could. If I was half the man he was. Wow, what a legacy, what a legend he's left behind. So all these years later, sadly we lost Dad. 2018, January the 10th. And a part of me is gone as well, because we were very, very close, and I used to call him Buddy and he used to call me Basil. So in Maltese that means friend, my buddy, my best friend. That was his little name for me, little pet name, Basil. Jesus, I miss him so much. What an amazing life he led. Being part of 20 children, and being the second born, the eldest male, he felt he had a responsibility to get things done and take care of his family and his brothers and sisters. And yes, they're here because of him. They're all here because of him. And he became, you know, the pillar of strength. When my grandfather passed away, he was the one responsible for doing all that for them. What an amazing story. There is so much more to tell, and I'm sure when I stop this vlog I'll kick myself for not mentioning it. But I think that's about as personal as I think I should get. So happy birthday, Dad, if you're here with us. You'd be laughing and smiling. Beautiful man you are. We all miss you, mate. We all miss you, buddy. Wherever you are, We love you. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your love and support. Everyone that's subscribed, I think I'm at 99 subscribers now. We're going to need one more to make the 100. Please, one more. Even though I know this vlog isn't motorcycle related, and like I said, I was very apprehensive about doing this and bringing this to the channel, but I think it's a beautiful story, and I think it deserves to be told. So on this day, December the 9th, 2020, he would have been 87 years old. And he is still very, very missed, very dearly. Alright guys, I think that's going to be enough for me and for this vlog. Once again, thank you very much, one and all. Please be safe at all times. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and until next time, goodbye. Bye for now.